Just imagine grey stone towers rising out of ancient Scottish woodland, a private loch catching the last of the afternoon light, a vaulted ceiling above your dining table, a fireplace that's been burning in the same room since the 1600s, and a price tag that makes you double-check the listing. Scotland has always had this reputation for dramatic landscapes and dramatic history. But what people don't talk about nearly enough is that right now, in 2026, you can actually buy into that history. Not visit it, not photograph it through iron gates, own it. We're talking real castle properties, real listings, properties you can actually move into as described, and we're going to go through 4 of them today, starting at just over $200,000 and climbing to something at the end that is genuinely going to make your jaw drop. Not because of the price, but because of what that price gets you. I saved the strongest for last, and trust me, by the time we get there, your idea of what money can buy in this country will have completely shifted. Let's start at the entry point, because even here, even at the bottom of this ladder, we're already talking about something most people have never considered possible. Just over £155,000. That's around $204,650 at the time of this roundup. And you are stepping through the door of a castle apartment in St. Maidos, Perth. St. Maidos sits in Perthshire, a county that stretches from the edge of the Scottish Highlands down to the fertile karst of Gowrie, where the River Tay widens and the countryside turns unexpectedly lush and quiet. This is rural Scotland at its most livable. Small villages, working farmland, ancient parish churches, and a pace of life that city people spend entire weekends trying to simulate. Perth itself, the nearest city, has been called the gateway to the Highlands, and it earned that title, sitting at the intersection of everything dramatic and everything accessible. The architecture here tends toward solid sandstone and gray granite beetle, buildings that were built to last centuries and largely have. Winters are cold and honest. Summers are genuinely beautiful with long northern light that stretches past 9 in the evening. It's the kind of place where the landscape does something to you after a few days. You start slowing down, noticing things, and wondering why you ever needed to be somewhere louder. Now, before you picture a crumbling ruin with a tarp for a roof, stop. According to the listing, this is a period flat, with exposed brickwork, stone flooring, wooden floors, sash windows, a wood-burning fireplace, and a galley kitchen. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 living space, and it is described as a freehold property with off-street parking and a garden. Is it compact? Yes. Is it a palace? No. But here's the thing. It's not a museum, it's real life. You're getting character details that would cost a fortune to replicate in a new build. Original stone, period features, that fireplace. The listing also notes renovation potential, which suggests light cosmetic work is possible, but this isn't a gut it before you sleep here situation. It's described as a period property with features already in place. And the best part is, you're in Perthshire, surrounded by farmland, the River Tay not far off, and the kind of quiet that city people pay premiums to find on weekends. For a solo buyer, a bolt hole, or even a rental play in a region where castle tourism is real, this is a serious entry point, but I'll be honest, this is just the beginning, because the next one on this list isn't an apartment in a castle, it's the whole castle. And an estate. And a loch. Scotland as a country right now is one of those rare places where history hasn't been fully priced in yet. The landscapes, the Highlands, the Lowlands, the coastline of Galloway are genuinely world-class. Winters are real, yes, but summers here are long lit and extraordinary, and the expat and remote work community in Scotland has been quietly growing for years. Properties like these move fast when they're priced correctly, so if any of these catch your eye, check documents, check fees, always verify with local solicitors. Listings move. Now let's talk about the one that changes the game. £340,000. That's around $448,900 at the time of this roundup. And for that, according to the listing, You are getting Monraith House and Estate in Port William, a Category A listed Georgian mansion sitting on 328 acres, which is roughly 133 hectares, with its own private loch, 4 rental cottages already tenanted, ancient woodlands of beech and oak and silver birch, a private church and burial ground that is a scheduled ancient monument, a boathouse on the loch, and pike fishing. Let that sit for a second. 328 acres, a private loch. The White Loch of Merton alone extends to over 50 acres. That's more than 2.1 million square feet of open water on your doorstep, under $500,000. Port William sits on the Galloway coast in the southwest of Scotland, a part of the country that most people outside the UK couldn't place on a map, and that is entirely to its advantage. This is a coastline of quiet bays, working fishing villages, and skies so dark at night that the region holds one of Europe's designated dark sky parks within easy reach. The landscape here is softer than the highlands, rolling farmland meeting sea cliffs, ancient woodland backing onto sandy beaches, and the pace of life reflects that. The Maxwell family, a lineage stretching back to the 12th century, connected to figures like Gavin Maxwell, the naturalist and author of Ring of Bright Water, are woven into the story of this estate and this coast. Winters here are milder than inland Scotland thanks to the Gulf Stream influence, and the light in summer is something you genuinely have to experience. The house itself was commissioned in 1791 by Sir William Maxwell, 4th Baronet, designed by Alexander Stevens, replacing the earlier Merton Castle, parts of which were reused in construction. According to the listing, the interior includes gilded friezes, plasterwork, tapestries, a library with French doors to the garden, a billiards room with bespoke engraved cabinetry, a dining room with dual aspect windows, and a chandelier. The ground floor alone has a bedroom, shower room, and WC, meaning you can start living here immediately while deciding what to do with the upper floors. The first floor has a self-contained laird's flat with its own bedroom suite, sitting room, and pantry. The second floor has 3 apartments, though the listing notes the wiring there has been disconnected, so that's a known item. The basement has 2 more apartments and a games room and workshop. The recently renovated Kennels Cottage on the loch is included and described as available with vacant possession. 4 bedrooms, open-plan kitchen and family room, a double-sided wood-burning stove. 3 of the estate's other cottages are let to tenants, meaning there's already income described in the listing. The grounds are in the inventory of gardens and designed landscapes in Scotland. There's a crannog. There's a boathouse. And the best part is, 2 local beaches are within walking distance of the estate's own private churchyard. This isn't a fantasy. According to the listing, this is a real, structured, operating estate with a mansion at its heart and rental income already in place. New leader. Absolutely, completely new leader. But keep watching, because the next 2 shift the angle entirely, and one of them might actually suit your life better than a 328-acre estate ever could. Galloway, in the southwest of Scotland, is one of the least discussed corners of the country, and honestly, that's what makes this feel like a find. Dark Sky Park nearby, forest trails, a coastline that looks like it belongs in Ireland, and no crowds. The expat and remote work community here is small but real, and the airport connections from Glasgow and Edinburgh make it accessible without feeling overrun. Now, pivot. We're heading east. We're crossing into Fife, dropping into a landscape that's defined by royal history, a university town, and a coast that locals have kept to themselves for too long. And the next property has a name attached to it that will stop you cold. Offers over £525,000, approximately $693,160 at the time of this roundup. That's the ask for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom lower villa apartment inside Petrie Castle, situated between Rosyth and Dunfermline, in the heart of Fife. Fife is the peninsula that juts into the North Sea between the Firth of Forth and the Firth of Tay, a region shaped by fishing, trade, coal, royalty, and now a growing wave of people realizing it offers Edinburgh access without Edinburgh prices. Dunfermline is its beating heart, a city that only received its official city status in 2022, but which has been carrying the weight of Scottish royal history for over 1,000 years. This is where Scottish kings were buried, where ancient abbeys still stand in the middle of modern streets, where the architecture shifts constantly between medieval stone and Victorian confidence. The coastline of the East Nook is within easy reach. Picture stone harbor villages, lobster boats, and a coastline that inspired painters for generations. The climate here is cool and honest, tempered by the sea, with summers that surprise you and winters that are far milder than the Highlands. Rail infrastructure is genuinely excellent, which is unusual for a place that still feels this unhurried. And here's the name you need to know: Robert the Bruce. Petrie Castle was gifted by Robert the Bruce to his sister, Lady Christina Bruce. This Category A-listed castle dates to the early 17th century, has witnessed the Battle of Petrie in 1651, and later served as a wartime command center during the Second World War. Winston Churchill visited. It was subsequently converted into elegant apartments, and according to the listing, this one has been restored and is described as a rare residence. The property has a private entrance vestibule opening onto a sweeping staircase to the main living quarters. Inside, an airy hallway, a WC, and an expansive lounge rich with period features, including an ornate fireplace and large windows framing views of the castle's manicured gardens. The accommodation spans 2 levels. The lower ground floor has a principal bedroom with ensuite, a further bedroom, a family bathroom, a spacious dining kitchen, utility space, and a separate laundry room. There's a private courtyard garden for your own use, and extensive communal grounds with ponds, lawns, woodlands, and a summer house. And the best part is, Rosyth Railway Station is described as just a short walk away with direct connections to Edinburgh's Haymarket in under 30 minutes. 2 private parking spaces are included. Dunfermline, which achieved city status in 2022, is minutes away by car. This is not a rural retreat. This is a castle apartment with city access, a commuter train, and a history that most museums would kill for. For remote workers who want Edinburgh proximity without Edinburgh prices, or for anyone who wants to tell people they live in a castle that Robert the Bruce once gave away, this one is hard to beat. But I did say I saved the strongest for last. And the last one on this list is the one that made me stop and look twice, because it packs more rooms, more period detail, and more sheer usable life into one building than anything else on this list. And it's priced just above the previous one. Aberdeenshire is where Scotland stops being gentle and starts being something else entirely. This is granite country, the northeast corner of Scotland, where the stone itself is harder and the greys run deeper, where the North Sea coastline is dramatic and uncompromising, and where the landscape shifts between ancient woodland, broad river valleys, and farmland that feels like it's been working since before anyone was keeping records. Aberdeenshire has more castles per square mile than almost anywhere in Europe, which sounds like a brochure line until you actually drive through it and realize it's simply true. The Deeside Valley is one of the most quietly beautiful corridors in the country. The royal family has been coming here for over a century, which tells you something. Aberdeen itself is a genuine city with an international airport, direct flights to London and beyond, a university, a restaurant scene, and a coastal energy that gives it a completely different character from Edinburgh or Glasgow. The suburb of Colts sits just 4 miles west of Aberdeen's city centre, along the River Dee, leafy, residential, private. The kind of address that people in the northeast of Scotland recognize immediately as one of the best postcodes going. Now, last one. This is the payoff. £1,150,000. That's around $1,518,000 at the time of this roundup. Colts House on Colts Avenue, Aberdeen. 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 6 reception rooms, and according to the listing, 5,889 square feet. That's just under 547 square meters of living space, sitting on approximately 1 acre of mature, secluded garden grounds. This house dates back to around 1690, making it the first house ever built in what is now the western suburb of Colts, originally constructed by the Irvin family who owned Drum Castle. The property and its impressive entrance driveway wall are Grade B listed, and from the outside, you know immediately this is something different. Solid granite and slate, the kind of construction that doesn't apologize for itself, extended and adapted over the centuries to create what the listing describes as a spacious family home that strikes the perfect balance between old and new. Step inside and that balance becomes very real, very quickly. The large entrance vestibule has a striking black and white tiled floor and two 15-pane windows. Period features run through the entire property: high ceilings, cornice work, picture rails, wood paneling, deep skirting boards, paneled doors, archways, alcoves, bay windows, working window shutters, fireplaces. But this isn't a property frozen in the past. The billiard room has a bay window with its own vestibule and garden access. The dining room has parquet flooring and its own bay window with garden views. The drawing room has a barrel-style ceiling and a deep curved window seat. And from there, French doors open directly into a box-shaped orangery, finished with granite floor tiles. Then there's the heart of the house, a fully fitted dining kitchen and family room with a gas-fired 4-oven black AGA as the centerpiece, silestone work surfaces, a Neptune kitchen with a generously sized island, a Neff dishwasher, a Samsung side-by-side fridge freezer, and a wood-burning stove in the casual seating area across the room. French doors from that space open into a conservatory with a picture-perfect outlook over the grounds and direct garden access. There's also a separate preparation kitchen and utility area with a Miele washing machine and Siemens tumble dryer, because at nearly 5,900 square feet, this house has the space to keep the practical completely separate from the beautiful. Upstairs, the principal bedroom suite has a double aspect and wonderful natural light with steps leading down to a dressing room and an ensuite bathroom featuring a white bath with rainfall shower, underfloor heating, and a Geberit-concealed WC. Bedroom 2 has its own ensuite with a large rainfall shower enclosure and underfloor heating. There's a library with fitted bookshelves and a triple aspect home office below it. On the second floor, a bay window bedroom has a particularly generous ensuite with a freestanding double-end roll-top bath and a separate shower enclosure. 2 more bedrooms share a family bathroom. 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 6 reception rooms, a professional-grade kitchen, a library, a home office, an orangery, a conservatory, a garage, and an acre of mature private garden. And the best part is, according to the listing, this property is beautifully presented, ready to live in. No major renovations described or implied. Solid property. Actually move into. That's the whole point. It's not a museum. It's real life. Just real life with a barrel ceiling drawing room, an AGA, and a private acre of Aberdeenshire garden. Under $1.6 million. In Scotland. If you've made it this far and you want more finds like this, subscribe, because the next region we're covering is even more surprising on price. And I genuinely want to know, drop a comment below. Which of these 4 would you actually pick? Because they suit completely different lives. The St. Meadows Castle apartment is the entry point. Solo buyer, minimalist, character seeker, under $210,000, done. Monraith is the impossible dream, made real. 328 acres, a private loch stretching over 2 million square feet of open water, a Georgian mansion, rental income already in place, under $450,000, yet best for those who want land, legacy, and scale. Petrie is the city-connected castle lifestyle. Robert the Bruce's estate, 3 bedrooms, Edinburgh, in 30 minutes. Best for remote workers or anyone who wants real history with real commuter practicality. And Colts House is the grand finale. Nearly 5,900 square feet across 6 bedrooms and 6 reception rooms, an AGA kitchen, an orangery, a library, a private acre in one of Aberdeen's most respected addresses, and a history stretching back to 1690. All described as no major renovations required. Solid properties. Actually move-in ready. Scotland's been quietly offering this for years. The question is whether you're paying attention. Comment below. Which one wins for you?